What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is your boy J to the R, and you are watching recording software tutorial. Now, what are we going to be doing in this particular program? I am going to show you how I use this one particular program in PreSonus Studio One Artist 6 to make vocals sound better. You're probably wondering, well, what is that plugin? It is Fat Channel. What is Fat Channel? Fat Channel is a plugin that comes with the software. It allows you to do several things to a track. One and done type of plugin. You got your gate on it, you got a limiter, you got a compressor, you got an EQ, and not only do you have those, but you also have different versions of those. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So I have a multi-track session loaded up from Alan Stone on a song called Naturally. I'm going to play a little bit of it for you. I'm not going to mix the whole song. I'm just going to show you what I can do with his lead vocals. Let's play a little bit.
So why is that your crybaby? Volume? Y'all ready in there?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Hey everyone, Steve Watkins and we're
Get to the chase.
up that face to make sure those blemishes hide.
This is the track.
Coffee, the cigarettes, galloping blues around the neck. No better. Disrespect, disrespect, disrespect. Pocketbills, posting pics, stressing on, wasting hips. Body's right, world is sick, world is sick, world is sick. Flower, flower, growing free.
So that's a little bit of it. So let's go ahead and dive into it. It's only fire. It's straight fire, in case you didn't hear it. Okay, so let's start. Let's scroll this down. Let's find a good section to play with. I'm thinking we're gonna play with.
It's up that face to make sure those.
One thing I like about live recordings is the bleed over. I don't know why I like bleed over. It's more realistic. Let's solo it.
Even from a mirror,
You got drums in it. That's okay. We're gonna work with it.
Her shape and size.
All right, let's go ahead, and we're not gonna add no reverb or nothing. I just want to show you what this program can do, on what this plug-in can do unadulterated. Here it is right here, Fat Channel. As I was saying, you got your gate. Boom. Let's turn this gate on. See what we can do.
Maybe baby, even from a mirror, but that her dukes are not the daisies, and her shape and size.
Put a quick attack on it.
Don't need advice, no.
This will I'm gonna be honest with you, it don't do that much, but you gotta play with it. But what it's going to do is get rid of some of those drums, but not much.
Maybe baby, even from a mirror, but that her dukes are not the days.
I like cranking it up until I start hearing artifacts, and then I will turn it back down.
Maybe baby, even from a.
That's dope. That's dope. So now what you can do too is, if you want to swap the order, if you look at this plugin right here, let's draw it out, make it a little bit bigger. You have the gate, compressor, EQ, and limiter. Me personally, I like doing my EQ first, and then my compressor, and then my limiter. So in this plugin, you can swap those two out. And notice how you only have the option to swap those two out. That's because people that made this know what they're doing. And it keeps you from not knowing what you're doing if you don't know what you're doing, because you're not going to swap the limiter out with the gate or the EQ and bring it way down here and then have this compressor over here. If you're a beginner, that may be what you may try, and it'll be 100% wrong. All right, so this is the basic EQ. We want to use the vintage EQ. On something like this, you got to make it funky. So we'll turn it on over here, the little red dot.
Baby, baby, even from a mirror.
I just kind of want to cut a little bit low in out.
Her shape and size.
Before I do that,
I don't need advice, no.
I still hear I'm cutting into the vocals with the gate, so we're gonna turn it down a little bit more. Normally I like to stay around -43, but that's just me. Let's go back to the EQ.
Baby, even from a mirror, but that her dukes are not the daisies, and her shape and size.
Now, when you got a good mic, I mean, you don't want to just go overboard with the EQ. I just like to do a little sprinkle. Now, I'm doing this through a headphone set, so not through monitors, so this ain't gonna be the best, but it sounds good in this. May not sound good to you. Just remember that.
Baby, even from a mirror, but that her dukes are not the daisies, and
okay, that's all I'm going to do with the EQ. This was recorded on good mics. It sound good. Don't want to overdo it. Don't want to thin it out. Don't want to take out any of the crispiness. But I did want to use this vintage EQ, not a regular EQ. You just got to use vintage on a vocal like that. Now let's skip over here to the compressor. You turn that on. Now you're saying, okay, this is just your basic compressor, threshold, whatnot. But then if you click this arrow, well, let's go back. Let's not go over there. Let's go back to the EQ because I didn't show you all the options. I went to the vintage EQ. Then you have a passive EQ. And then, of course, you have the regular EQ. I used the passive EQ and it still kept my settings even though I switched. So if you want to go back, you can go back. Solid state space. I don't know what that is. Now let's go back to the compressor. So on the compressor, you have the same thing. You have a FET, you have a tube compressor, and you have your standard. Tube, I pretty much will use that on instruments and whatnot, but for the sake of discussion, let's use it on here. Anything that's old school. Now this button, this is your peak reduction. You want to move this over here until you start to see this moving. And when you get to reducing so much, you want to add a little bit of gain.
Even from a mirror, but that her dukes are not the daisies, and her shape and size. I don't need advice, no. She paints up that face to make
that bitch ain't moving at all, is it?
Even from a mirror, but that her dukes are not the daisies, and her shape.
That tells me that this vocal is really already compressed when he was recording it. But we're gonna keep doing it. Now let's see if we can try. Let's go over here to this one.
Even from a mirror,
that one moves a little bit.
Dukes are not the daisies, and her shape and size.
Now I'm watching the VU meter over here because I only want to hit it at like 3 and look like this. You know, you got 3, 5, 7, 10. So I'm just adding a little bit of light compression up to 3.
Even from.
Now remember, when you compressing that drum too. So you're changing the whole sound of the song. So let's unsolo that, see what that sounds like.
Even from a mirror, but that her dukes are not the daisies.
Okay, you see how that make that stand above the rest of the mix? It worked now. It's activated. Let's unactivate it and hear it before. It's activated.
Even from a mirror, but that her dukes are not the daisies, and her shape and size. I don't need it. device, no.
Now, as you can see, we're not going over in the red or nothing. So this song was recorded excelente. Excelente. When you get a good song that's recorded well, you shouldn't have to do much but polish it. You shouldn't have to polish it. When I do a song, it's like I'm baking a cake in the mix to make it sound halfway decent. But I digress. Now, so we got the compressor where it needs to be, standing out in the mix. Now we're going to come over here to the limiter. Now, in this particular section, I use the limiter. I don't want it to go over 0 to clip, but also I want it to stay around the general level of the mix. So let's play.
Even from a mirror, but that her dukes are not the daisies, and her shape and size don't need advice, no. She paints up that.
So on this mix, the way that the levels are mixed, nothing really goes over 12 or 6. So there's really no need for a limiter on this because it's recorded perfectly. Notice how everything hits around -12. So you got a lot of headroom to work with.
Even from a mirror, but that her dukes are not the daisies,
before,
her shape and size don't need advice, no. She paints up that face to make sure those blemishes hide. Coffee, cigarettes.
I can't do it. That song going too hard. Anyway, this is a quick video of how you can use Fat Channel to make your track sound better. Rap, hip hop, R&B, rock, it don't matter. You can make your shit sound better with this one plugin. It is amazing. Y'all let me know what you think about it in the comments. This your boy. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Even from a mirror, but that her dukes are not the daisies,